Hey everybody, it's Kevin Carr from Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning and Movement is Medicine. And today I want to go over straight leg isometrics for the hamstring up against the wall. This is going to be a drill that I use with people who are recovering from a hamstring tendinopathy or a hamstring strain. We want to start to get some isometric strength back into the tendon and back into the tissue. We know especially following a tendinopathy, we're going to see reduced cortical drive or cortical inhibition into the muscle that's affected in the tendinopathy. So it's important that we start to get some neural drive back in that tissue, recondition that tendon and that muscular tissue to stress. So a great way to start doing that before we start doing concentric and eccentric variations that are going to be more dynamic is just to start with some wall pressing. So a straight leg wall press, especially indicated for people with a high hamstring, like a proximal hamstring strain, where it's very tender and very sensitive when the leg is straight and stretched. You can also do these drills with a bent knee if someone has more discomfort in the belly of the tissue, but often I find people who have high hamstring or proximal hamstring tendinopathies and strains tend to be particularly sensitive in a straight leg position, so at near full hip flexion. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have the athlete get themselves in a door frame and they're going to scoot themselves in. And so this one leg is going to be straight, sticking through the door, and then the affected leg is going to be up against the wall. And what I want them to do is find the range of motion just shy of where they start to get pain and discomfort. So if right about here is where they get pain and discomfort, I'm going to have them go just shy of that and go up against the wall. I want to see the downside leg is straight and the toes are up towards the ceiling. Same with the top leg, the affected leg. I don't want the leg turned out or turned way in. I want it just about neutral, and I want that knee straight. What I'm going to have them do is take a big breath in the nose. Exhale, draw their ribs down and their pelvis under, so they're essentially depressing their rib cage and posteriorly tilting. So that way we're getting our rib cage and pelvis in a better position and orientation with respect to one another. As they're doing that exhale, I want them to drive that heel into the wall. So they're actively extending that hip, even though it's not going anywhere. We're getting an isometric in the glutes and the hamstrings, okay? So just like this. For the length of that exhale, I'm driving my heel into the wall, driving some activity, especially into this proximal hamstring and glute. I would suggest that the athletes start with about like a 25% contraction, start lightly just to gauge their tolerance. If someone's very tender, they might not be able to contract their really high strength. And over time, we're gonna see their nervous system give them a little bit more neural drive. We're gonna see the tissue adapt to that contraction. They're gonna be able to get a little bit more power in between that push. So maybe over the course of a set, if they do 5 reps with 5 breaths, they start at 25%, then maybe 40%, then 60%, and then maybe 80%. We're increasing the intensity of that isometric as we go. That's going to start to condition that tissue to a little bit of isometric contraction and restore some of that cortical inhibition that you see following a strain or a tendinopathy. From there, it's going to open the opportunity to start to do more exercises that are going to put strain through there. Things like hip hinges, things like deadlifts, single leg deadlifts of that nature. But this can be a great way following maybe manual therapy to start to bridge the gap back into strength training following a hamstring strain or tendinopathy.